All right, so here's a question. Joe Biden going to finally seize Vladimir Putin's $700 million yacht, which is sitting off the coast of Italy, and I have wanted us to seize for a couple of months. So here to talk about it is my great friend Robert O'Brien, former national security advisor. Robert O'Brien, good to see you back. So, you know, the news conference today, it sounded like President Biden was asking for the authority to seize assets. Now, I was hoping you could help us out on this. The United States has already seized with Spain one of the Russian oligarchs' yachts, but there's Putin's yacht off the coast of Italy. Why do we need a congressional law to just take his yacht? That's the part I don't get. What do you know about this? And by the way, when you were national security advisor, did you take any yachts and stow them away in the old executive office building?
You know, we didn't take any yachts when I was there, but we put a lot of sanctions on Russian oligarchs, as you recall, Larry. You were right in the thick of that, and in fact, I think up until recently, we put more sanctions on Russia and on Russian oligarchs than any administration in history, going all the way back to Ronald Reagan. So, you know, and it worked. It kept Putin out of Ukraine, and that stopping Nord Stream 2 kept him out of Ukraine. Getting out of the Open Skies Treaty kept him out of Ukraine. Getting out of the INF Treaty sent a strong message that peace through strength works, and we're not going to allow the Russians to cheat on treaties or bully their neighbors. And so I'm glad to see that the Biden administration is getting tough on this. I wish you could roll the tape, because I remember being on your show back in January, and you and I talked about this very issue. You suggested ceasing the yachts. I was right with you. And we also talked about sanctioning the central bank of Russia and kicking them off the SWIFT system. And again, we've had half measures. None of this has happened. I mean, the Russians are still selling oil and gas to anyone who wants to buy it, $1 billion a day to the Germans alone. And we're not sanctioning the central bank, and we're not sanctioning the SWIFT system. You and I called for that 4 months ago, before the invasion even took place. And so I'm hoping this is a step in the right direction, and I applaud the administration if they're going to get serious about cracking down on these oligarchs. But you know, we need to move out.
Robert, I mean, it's a technical thing or a legal thing, but is there something to prevent us from taking Putin's yacht? I mean, everybody knows it's his yacht. And, of course, everybody knows, in addition to being a war criminal, he's a crook. He's been stealing from the Russian people for 30 or 40 years. Right. Whatever he's worth, a couple of $100 billion. It's a complete outrage. But, I mean, in terms of your experience at NSC, is there something that stops us from seizing his boat?
No, look, the assets could be seized, especially if it's in Italian waters, working with our NATO ally Italy could seize the boat. And look, if there's someone who, like any time you seize the ill-gotten gains of criminal activity, somebody can always come to court and say, no, that's mine. It belongs to me. So the asset should be seized. And then if there's a legitimate owner who can come in and prove ownership and prove that it's not Putin's yacht, Italy has the rule of law. They can make that claim. But I don't think anyone will come forward.
All right, so be it. Today, he's pledged another $33 billion, mostly in military assistance to Ukraine. Yesterday, the day before, and the day before that, his SecDef, Austin, convened a conference of 40 countries. I mean, it looks like they're sort of finally coming around. Austin has actually been ahead of the president in saying that he wants Ukraine to win this war. What do you make of this? It looks like they were a penny late, a pound foolish. Is it better now? It looks like it might be better.
Well, listen, it reminds me of the old comment that Winston Churchill made about America, that it'll always do the right thing after it's exhausted every other option. And we're seeing a little bit of that now. So, look, I'm glad to see the movement. But here's the problem with the $33 billion. And the American taxpayers are the most generous people in the world, Larry, as you know. We'll help folks around the world and don't ask for anything in return, unlike the Chinese. We're not going to mortgage Ukraine's future to help them rebuild. But the Germans are going to pay the Russians $30 billion this month for oil and gas. So as the American taxpayers at a time of recession are reaching deep into our pockets to help the people of Ukraine, Germany is going to pump the exact same money into the Russian economy. The Germans have to stop buying this oil and gas from the Russians. They have to stop fueling Putin's war machine. That'll do far more for the Ukrainian people than any aid we give them. Now, I'm all for aiding the Ukrainians and getting them the weapons they need. By the way, we've now almost run out of Stinger missiles because, as you know, the Democrats shut down all our production lines for not just for our shipyards, but now that we found out for Stinger missiles, Javelin missiles, and it's going to take years to rebuild those stockpiles. We need to also invest in our industrial base, and that's something I know you worked very hard on as director of the National Economic Council. We need to do that forthwith and get back to a point where America can manufacture the weapons that are not just that our allies need, but our own soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines can use to defend us and defend themselves.
Well, it is reported today, Robert. I can't, I can't say yes or no, but it is being reported that Germany is lifting its opposition to sanctioning all the Russian oil and gas. We'll see how that plays out. But you're right, it's been about $1 billion a day. Robert, just in the last minute, you wrote a very tough Wall Street Journal op-ed about rattling back. Every time Putin rattles nuclear, we should rattle back. Could you just give us a summary of this? Because he's doing it again. He's starting to do this nuclear thing again.
Well, what I'm concerned about, and many others in the field are concerned about, is that as the Ukrainians win, and I think the Ukrainians are going to win this war, I think they're going to push the Russians out of the Donbass. They might even push the Russians out of Crimea. And that's going to put Putin's back to the wall, and he may think that he can use a tactical nuclear weapon or battlefield nuclear weapon to escalate, to de-escalate. We need to make it very clear to the Russians that while we may not engage in a nuclear exchange in response, that we'll make sure that all the Soviet fleet that's behind our lines, that's in the Mediterranean and the Atlantic, is promptly removed. Either Putin removes himself and withdraws, or we sink him if we have to. We cannot allow Putin to launch nuclear weapons in Europe and to threaten our rear with nuclear weapons on his subs and his ships, whether they be off the port in Syria or in the Atlantic. So he's got to understand that there are going to be real consequences if he detonates a nuclear weapon in Ukraine. We've got to stop that, and we need to deter him now and not wait.
Spot on, Robert O'Brien. You know, sir, every time Putin barks, I just wish Biden would bark back. You know what I mean? Just bark right back. That's what's missing from this. Anyway, Robert O'Brien, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Great to see you.